Hello everyone. Today we bring you part 8. First, let's briefly recap the previous episode. After Yi Tian wins the duel with Sun Feng, he was attacked by Sun Feng's master Qi Meng. Yi Tian decides that the Sun family wouldn't let go of this and will continue to attack his family. He decides to once and for confront the Sun family before any further attacks come to surprise him. Before he goes on the offensive, Yi Tian smartly decides to cover his more important family. He asks Elder Lin Zi to escort Yi Yu into the care of the martial pavilion, and to take Captain Galewolf as his disciple. After a difficult struggle, Yi Tian manages to kill Sun Feng, Sun Kong, as the patriarch of the Sun family and father of Sun Feng, all the 4 great elders of the Sun family, and Grand Master Yao Yu. This literally demolishes the entire Sun family. Yi Tian even manages to befriend Grand Master Li Mao, who is the second Grand Master from the Iron Fang base and political rival of Yao Yu. This effectively solves the whole invasion of the Lin Hai base. Led by the Lin family, all the prominent families wanted to assist in raising Yi Tian's influence. Yi Tian, in fact, had no interest in this. Instead, Yi Tian was planning to go to the Demon Sea base in order to further cultivate. In lieu of this, Yuling gives up her post as pavilion master at the Linhai base in order to follow Yi Tian. She also brings along Xiaoyu in assisting her. Let's continue with the story as we follow Yi Tian on a new adventure to go to the Demon Sea base. The scene shifts toward Yi Tian's car as they all travel along the road. The car was cruising along at a quick and yet safe speed. However, inside the car the atmosphere was anything but serene. Yi Tian and Yuling were ignoring each other in silence, while Xiaoyu and Yi Yu were bickering with each other over holding little Jean. Xiaoyu said, "I can't believe you won't let me hold it. How incorrigible." Yi Yu answered in defiance, "Goldie is afraid of strangers." Little Jean could be seen hugging Yi Yu, trying to silence the noise. Yuling, trying to break the ice, said, "The Demon Sea base will be conducting a secret realm trial in 3 months. Would you be interested in participating, Yi Tian?" Yi Tian asked in amazement. "Secret realm? What is that?" Xiaoyu quipped from the back seat. "You don't even know what a secret realm are? How on earth did you become a great martial warrior?" Yi Tian sweats in silence. Xiaoyu helpfully explained. Simply put, a secret realm is a kind of alternate dimension that exists apart from Earth. It is said that it had something to do with the disaster that happened 100 years ago. She continued. Martial warriors would enter these secret realms via dimensional rifts to adventure and search for rare and valuable treasures. Xiaoyu concluded her explanation by saying, "They are one of the important ways for warriors to advance their own cultivation." Yi Tian queried, "Can just anyone enter these secret realms?" Yuling replied, "No, there are ranks to secret realms too. For example, the secret realm that will be activated in 3 months is only open to great martial warriors like us." She continued, "If martial warriors of higher or lower ranks try to enter, they will be obliterated by the mechanisms of the secret realm." Yi Tian shifted into a higher gear as if he couldn't wait to get there, saying, I see. This is my first time hearing about this. The car sped ahead since Yi was getting anxious to get there. Yu Ling continued. The slots for exploring these secret realms are in very high demand. I will have you know that in order to help you get a slot, it means that the Yu family had to lose one. Yu Ling tried to be casual in asking, even though deep inside she was anxious. This is an opportunity that is hard to come by. So, are you interested? Yi Tian couldn't help but tease, saying, You had to go to so much trouble? I'd better not go, then. I really hate troubling others. Yu Ling growled. You asshole. The car suddenly veered to the side. Yu Ling angrily said, Why are you so wishy-washy? You are not like a man at all. Yi Tian exasperatingly said, Don't grab the steering wheel like that. The scene shifts to an area later that evening. The car had stopped at a rest area. As everybody got out trying to stretch their cramped legs, Yu Ling proclaimed, This is an abandoned campsite. We can spend the night here. Yi Tian washed his face to freshen up. He stretched his arms, saying, Ah. That feels good. Yi Tian walked up the flight of stairs, saying, I will go see how Yi Yu and the others are doing with dinner preparations. Yu Ling suddenly walked behind Yi Tian, anxiously asking, Hey! Are you really not going to the secret realm? She stopped, waiting anxiously as Yi Tian approached her, saying, You'd better think this through. If you miss this chance, who knows when the next time such an opportunity like this will come around again? Yu Ling exasperatingly said. Opportunities like these are extremely valuable for martial warriors like us. Yi Tian cleared his dry throat, saying, How should I put this? To be honest, I would like to participate. He looked towards Yi Yu and Xiao Yu, who were busy preparing dinner, saying, But for Yi Yu and me, this is also our first time leaving Linhai Base. The two girls were happily discussing recipes, as Yi Yu was asking Xiao Yu for pointers. Yi Tian continued. If I am not by her side, I really can't rest assured. Yu Ling slapped her forehead, giggling. Ha ha ha. So, it's because of that? Yi Tian flabbergasted asked. What's so funny? Yu Ling put her hands upon Yi Tian's shoulder, assuring him, asking, Do you really not know what my family does? She confidently said. The Martial Pavilion has a branch at the Demon Sea base too. Leave Yi Yu to me. Yi Tian gasped in amazement, saying, Really? Yu Ling alluringly said, It's nothing. Yi Tian awkwardly said, Well, then. Let's take part in it together. Yu Ling angrily said, It's a promise. Don't become wishy-washy again when the time comes. Yi Tian put his hands on Yu Ling's shoulders, melting her heart unbeknownst to him, saying, Got it. Don't worry. Yi Tian chuckled, thinking. He he he. This way, I get to save another huge sum of money. Suddenly Xiao Yu raised her hand, asking. Everyone. I'd like to ask your opinion about something. She had a map in her hands, saying. We are still about 3,000 kilometers away from Demon Sea Base. Would you like to travel speedily to get there as quick as possible? Or get there slowly and enjoy ourselves along the way? Yi Tian and Yu Ling answered together, as if they are a loving pair, saying. I am fine either way. Xiao Yu couldn't help but notice, saying. Wow, you two are speaking in unison. She thought. What is with this goddamn rapport? Yi Tian and Yu Ling both blushed and turned their heads away. Suddenly, Yi Yu raised her hand, saying. Sister Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu looked back at Yi Yu. Yi Yu shyly said. I would like to enjoy our journey and see the outside world. Would that be okay? Xiao Yu excitedly said. Of course. Well then, let's do as Yi Yu says. No one has any objections, right? Yi Tian and Yu Ling both again simultaneously said. Nope. The lovebirds continue their flight. Xiao Yu exclaimed. All right. We will set off after a night's rest. The scene shifts toward highlights of the group enjoying their journey and seeing the world. Xiao Yu and Yi Yu's faces were scared. In one area, Yi Tian was lifting up the car flying. Yu Ling was busy fighting off a gigantic giant as they tried to escape. Enjoy. Yi Tian's status window popped up. Ding. Copied mid-tier stamina talent. The scene shifts again to another area. Xiao Yu and Yi Yu's face were again frightened. Yi Tian was lifting the car over the ocean. As Yu Ling was again keeping a giant octopus at bay, so they can escape. The journey. Yi Tian's status window popped up. Ding. Copied mid-tier defense talent. The scene shifts 3 months later towards a large ship that they have boarded. The ship had entered the Demon Sea Base port entry. Yi Tian, Yu Ling, Yi Yu, and Xiao Yu were all standing on the deck of the ship, looking at the buildings of the Demon Sea Base as they docked at the port. Yi Tian smiled as he shaded his eyes from the sun, saying, We are finally here. It's the Demon Sea Base. Demon Sea Base. A large-scale base with a population in the tens of millions. The scene shifts towards the ship as it stops to dock at the pier. The captain of the ship announced. We have reached the Demon Sea Base. Passengers, please disembark in an orderly manner. Yi Tian, Yu Ling, Yi Yu, and Xiao Yu can be seen disembarking and walking upon the gangplank as they walked ashore. Yi Tian and Yu Ling walked together as Yu Ling stretched herself. Yi Tian looked around and commenting in amazement, saying, This place is really big. It's probably several times bigger than that of Linhai Base. Yu Ling replied, Yeah, it is divided into many districts. A white limousine can be seen in the background. The limo drove forward, approaching the two. Yi Tian gasped in amazement as he saw the limo stop in front of them, saying, "Eh?" The chauffeur stepped out and proceeded to open the back door. He smiled and proceeded to introduce himself. "I am a chauffeur from the Demon Sea Base Martial Pavilion. I have been waiting for your arrival. Miss, welcome to the Demon Sea Base." Yi Tian couldn't help but admire. "Whoa, the Martial Pavilion is really loaded." Yu Ling instructed. "Xiaoyu, take Yi Yu to the Martial Pavilion to get some rest." Xiaoyu acknowledged. "All right, Mississippi." Yi Yu could only stare in amazement. Xiaoyu put her arms around Yi Yu and directed her into the limo. Yi Yu could only ask, "Brother." Yi Tian smiled and assured his sister, "Don't worry about me, go on." Yi Yu looked back and still gave Yi Tian a warning. "You must be careful. I will be waiting for you." Yi Tian smiled, saying, "Don't worry." Yi Tian and Yu Ling watched as the limo sped away towards the Martial Pavilion. As the limo disappeared in the distance, Yu Ling stepped forward and said, "All right." She provocatively tied her hair into a ponytail and said, "It's time to get down to business." The scene shifts toward a certain district in the Demon Sea Base. A helicopter was traveling towards a certain building, hovering above a crowded area. Yi Tian and Yu Ling can be seen within the crowd. Yi Tian observed, "There are a lot of ordinary martial warriors here too." Yu Ling replied in a matter-of-fact tone, "They have probably come here to watch. After all, there aren't that many great martial warriors around." Someone from the crowd was busy watching the sky. He suddenly shouted, "The spatial rift has appeared." The helicopter turned around and headed towards the spatial rift. The spatial rift grew larger and brighter. Yi Tian looked up at the spatial rift and commented, "It's so small. Can people really enter it?" Yu Ling closed her eyes as she meditated, saying, "With the way it is now, of course not." Yu Ling finally awoke from her meditation and looked up, saying, "It needs to be broken open by force." Yi Tian looked at Yu Ling in amazement, asking, "Broken by force?" Suddenly, someone jumped out of the helicopter, activated his powers, and calmly walked towards the spatial rift. The crowd below looked on in amazement. Someone shouted, "It's King Yun-hee." As people watched Yun-hee walk calmly closer to the spatial rift, someone else shouted, "King Yun-hee is going for it." Yu Ling pointed towards Yun-hee. She explained to Yi Tian, "Did you see that? Flying in midair. That is a king rank powerhouse." Yi Tian focused his eyes toward Yun-hee, thinking, "King rank." He continues to analyze Yun-hee, thinking, "So, after the Grand Master rank is the king rank, huh?" Yun-hee. a powerhouse at the king rank from the Demon Sea Base's Yun family. Known as King Yun-hee, Yi Tian continues to analyze, thinking. To think that the Demon Sea Base has such a strong person. He continues to analyze Yun-hee in detail, as Yun-hee is walking towards the spatial rift, thinking. I would like to see how he is going to break apart that spatial rift. Yi Tian sees that Yun-hee is taking something out of his pocket. Yun-hee continues to point his finger towards the spatial rift. A small energy pill can be seen engulfing his finger with energy. Suddenly, a large energy bolt can be seen heading towards the spatial rift. Someone yelled. What kind of secret technique is that? Yun-hee continues to focus his energy that continues to build up surrounding his body. He condenses his energy to a single point on his finger. Yun-hee's eyes also focuses his intent upon the spatial rift ahead. The large energy bolt continues to build up, hitting the spatial rift and forcing it to break open. The energy bolt continues to push against the spatial rift. Cracks are beginning to show upon the spatial rift. The spatial rift continues to shatter. Finally, the spatial rift is broken open by the energy bolt. That dissipates along with pieces of glass that was once the spatial rift's protection. A crimson circle can be seen, signaling the door to Secret Realm. Yun-hee continues to hover, admiring his accomplishments. The crowd cheers and yells. He broke it apart. King Yun-hee is awesome. Yun-hee can be seen landing among the crowd. He is admired and cheered by the crowd. Hooray for King Yun-hee. He is incredible. Yi Tian focuses the talent detection towards Yun-hee, thinking. Just what kind of talent was that? A status window starts to appear. Still blurry due to the transcendent nature of the target. Yun-hee smiles as he is being admired by the throngs of the crowd. The status window clears up. Human. Yun-hee. Cultivation talent. Transcendent. Spatial talent. Novice tier. Yi Tian is in deep thought, thinking. So, beyond the talent rank of Apex tier, there is the Transcendent tier. He shifts his finger, signifying a copying talent being activated. Yi Tian smiles as he thinks. Well, I won't hold back then. A status window pops up, it's confirmation. Ding! Successfully copied Transcendent tier cultivation talent. The scene shifts to a large crimson portal that hovers within jumping distance from the ground. This is the entry point to the Secret Realm. A speaker suddenly blares an announcement. The passage to the Secret Realm is open. Everyone, get ready. We will enter it in 5 minutes. Yun-hee can be seen walking away to the ringing of all the adulation. Congratulations, King Yun-hee. All hail King Yun-hee. All hail King Yun-hee. Yi Tian and Yuling can be seen silently looking on. The crowd continues its cheers. All hail King Yun-hee. Yi Tian rubs his chin, thinking. Yun-hee also has a spatial talent. I wonder what kind of secret it holds. It's a pity I can't continue to copy it. I will just have to wait for another opportunity next time. He brings up his comprehensive status window to analyze. Human. Yi Tian. Cultivation talent. Transcendent tier. Speed talent. Apex tier. Sword talent. High tier. Shadow talent. Novice tier. Healing talent. Apex tier. Strength talent. High tier. Endurance talent. Mid tier. Defense talent. Mid tier. Yu Ling waves her hand producing some gear while handing them to Yi Tian, saying, "This is an interdimensional storage pouch and a GPS tracking watch. You can store many things in this pouch. And the GPS tracking watch can display our locations." Yu Ling continues. "Take them. They will be very useful in the secret realm." Yi Tian gratefully accepts them and replies, "Thank you for these items." Yi Tian puts on the watch and stores the pouch as he listens to Yu Ling. "I don't know where we will end up after entering the secret realm. So we have to regroup as soon as possible." Yu Ling sternly warns Yi Tian, "If we can't get out within a month, we will have to wait for the next time it reopens again 10 years later." Yi Tian raises his eyebrows, saying, "10 years? Okay, understood." Suddenly, someone steps nearby with a loud bang. A large fat man appears behind Yi Tian, asking, "Is this weakling the pro that Sis Ling invited?" He arrogantly looked down upon Yi Tian as he continues, "You are telling me this kid has the abilities of a great martial warrior? Sis Ling, you are not being tricked, are you?" Two people from the crowd looked upon them, saying, "That person's aura is really oppressive. That kid is in deep trouble from him." The other says, "Let's stay away from them." Yu Ling raises her own aura, saying, "Yu Chao? He is my friend, please be more respectful." Yu Chao pats Yi Tian on his back, testing his strength, saying, "This weakling from some tiny place stole my buddy's position to enter the secret realm. And you are asking me to respect him? I can't do it, Sis Ling." He continues to mock Yi Tian standing behind him, saying, "You don't even dare to fart, right? What a softie." Yi Tian focuses his power and analyzes the situation. Yu Chao suddenly walks away, shouting, "Get lost and go back home to drink your milk. Don't let me see you inside the secret realm." Yi Tian just shrugs and asks, "Is he always so brazen?" Yu Ling couldn't help but shake her head, saying nothing. The speaker system suddenly makes another announcement. The secret realm is officially open. Wishing everyone a safe and fruitful journey. 4 men jumped up and entered the secret realm. Yu Ling was impatient as she looked back at Yi Tian stretching. She said, "Let's go in too." He replied, "All right." Yi Tian jumped up using his normal ability. He followed Yu Ling, who was flying gracefully. Someone shouted, "Someone else is going in." Yi Tian looked at the entrance into the secret realm as he entered. This opportunity certainly marked a turning point in his growth and protection of his family. Unlike other situations where he looked to copy skills and grow himself, this time he sought solely to gain rare treasures and cultivation resources in order to sell or use for his family. The scene shifts towards the white limo that was carrying Yi Yu to the Demon Sea Base Martial Pavilion. Yi Yu was praying and thinking of her brother. "Brother, you must return safely." Little Jean was comforting Yi Yu in his master's place. The scene shifts back into the secret realm. Yi Tian can be seen falling down after he entered the opening. He landed on the ground with a loud boom. Yi Tian could be seen trying to get up in a cloud of dust. Cough. Cough. He was still lying on his back, saying, "Ouch. My butt hurts." Yi Tian slowly got up, his hands on his knees. He focused his senses on his surroundings. Yi Tian said, "This is the secret realm." Yi Tian slowly walked toward a large mansion. His foot touched upon a herbal fruit. Yi Tian crouched down to pick it up and analyze it. He held the fruit between his fingers delicately, saying, "This is 100-year spirit ginseng." Yi Tian suddenly notices something. He looked around at the garden around him, saying, So many." Yi Tian realized it, and excitedly exclaimed, "Ha ha ha! I am going to be rich." He took out and produced his storage pouch. Yi Tian focused his intent on the pouch and thought, "Store every herb for me." The storage pouch started collect and store things into its storage area. Many fruit herbs can be seen flying into the storage pouch. Yi Tian closed the storage pouch, which started to become bulky, saying, "I bet if that greedy little Yi Yu saw this, she would have fainted. Ha ha ha." He turned around to another direction and said, "Let's go somewhere else to have a look." The scene shifts to another area where a corpse could be seen. Yi Tian stood before the dead corpse and said, "This guy was probably attacked by beasts when he first entered the secret realm. It seems I can't let my guard down so easily in the secret realm." Suddenly, his GPS watch started to beep. Yi Tian looked at his GPS watch and said, "This is." His GPS watch was scanning the area around him, beeping. There were several small white circles and one large red circle that was signaling danger. Yi Tian thought, "Yuling is in trouble." The scene shifts toward an area inside a mansion. Yuling can be seen flying after being struck by a blow from a beast. The beast steps out from the shadows, its hiding place to attack martial warriors. Yuling can be seen jumping back, trying to create some distance between her and the beast. She can be seen kneeling, leaning upon her sword. Her body trembling and filled with cuts from blows by the beasts. Her face grimaces, showing resolute defiance. Yuling's eyes look sad as she says, "Yi Tian, thinking of the forthcoming sweet memories that she could have had. Please come quickly. A horde of ferocious goblins can be seen slowly approaching as if they are going to strike the killing blow. The scene shifts toward a flash of crimson light. Yi Tian was running, activating his speed talent to its maximum. He was focused, thinking. It should be in this direction. Yi Tian's eyes determined, silently praying. Wait for me, Yu Ling. Yi Tian can be seen jumping over building as he didn't want to be bothered by what was inside. To instead only focus on saving Yu Ling. Yi Tian jumped off the last building and dashed toward the finish line at a building in the distance. The scene shifts to inside the building, as the horde of beasts can be seen triumphantly growling and cheering as to slaughter their enemy. One of them jumped up in order to strike Yu Ling from above, while another strives to attack Yu Ling at her knees. Yu Ling struck the goblin above, shearing its club in half. Yu Ling suddenly noticed danger from a goblin that dropped upon her from above. She couldn't dodge the blow from above in time, and was struck down, her head crashing heavily upon the floor. That third goblin started to raise its club as to deal the killing blow. Yu Ling can be seen trembling on her knees, unknowing of the blow that was to come. She looked up at the menacing goblin looking down upon her. Yu Ling could only watch helplessly at her apparent doom. The blow started to come down on her. Whoosh! Yu Ling closed her eyes, praying and crying out for her love to save her. Yi Tian! Suddenly, Yi Tian arrived, kicking the goblin squarely on its head, its cheek and eyes taking the full force of the blow. Yu Ling could only watch in amazement as she sees her knight in shining armor saving her. The goblin can be seen. Its eye not fully functional, teeth broken. Its body was flung back toward the horde, as it crashed against the wall, dead. Yu Ling's eyes flashed in surprise as she realizes what has happened. She cried out, Yi Tian! Yi Tian was standing toward the goblin horde, activating his combat talents, shielding her from any incoming danger. He breathed a breath of relief as he had made it in time. Phew! Yi Tian looked back at Yu Ling, saying, Don't move. Leave the rest to me. His body's power crackling around him as it enveloped his body. Suddenly, Yi Tian activated his shadow talent and disappeared. He waved his hand and produced his sword within his grasp. Yi Tian appeared instantly before one goblin, striking a heavy blow, killing it instantly. The others fled in terror as they desperately tried to escape. Yi Tian noticed this. However, he wasn't going to let them off easily. He appeared, suddenly, in front of another goblin, punching it in the face, killing it instantly. Its teeth broken. Yi Tian slashed at another goblin that landed from above. He noticed the danger that came from above. Yi Tian activated his speed talent, jumping above. He slashed at the goblins above that were ready to strike him. They all crashed heavily to the ground in a heap. Yu Ling kneels upon the floor, thinking. With Yi Tian here, the unfulfilled wish that father had that year can probably be accomplished now. She looked toward Yi Tian, who was standing rubbing his neck as he stood among the many corpses that were strewn upon the floor. Yi Tian slowly walked back toward Yu Ling. Unknowingly that it came across as mocking, Yi Tian asked honestly, "What just happened? Considering how strong you are, how is it possible that these little monsters were able to injure you so heavily?" Yu Ling just closed her eyes and patiently answered, "Ha! It wasn't them that injured me." She then tries to stand up, indignantly. Still groggy from the loss of blood, she slowly stood up, saying, "I was injured by demonic eye python. That is a high-tier beast with an illusion talent." Yi Tian understandingly said, "A high-tier beast." Yu Ling rubbed her neck but continued to slowly walk away, signifying that she was ready to go, saying, "I used a forbidden secret technique to escape, but I never thought that right after doing so and after it had run out in a weakened state, that I would be ambushed by them." Yi Tian stood in silence but finally understood, saying, "I see." Yu Ling gravely said, "In this secret realm, there aren't just precious treasures. There is also the possibility of dying in here." She finished by saying, "It's only just begun." Outside, the weather changed dramatically as it started to rain heavily with thunder and lightning streaking down. The scene shifts toward outside as the rain fell down heavily. Yu Ling opened all the windows as to let in the breeze of fresh air in order to clean the smell of blood that arose from all the goblin corpses. She waved her hand and produced a large bottle of health potion from her spatial storage. Yu Ling proceeded to chug down and drink all the contents of the health potion. She sat down cross-legged and focused on her dantian in order to heal herself entirely. Yu Ling closed her eyes. A green light enveloped her entire body as she focused her healing to its maximum. Yi Tian paced around, asking, "Yu Ling, since you understand this secret realm more than I do, what is the most precious treasure that is being kept here? And do you know all the locations of those natural and rare material treasures?" Yu Ling continues to focus on her healing, while answering, "The most precious treasure in here should be the Vitality Stone Quarry. But the Yun family has already kept an eye on large natural resources such as those." Yi Tian looked back in astonishment, confirming, "The Yun family? Is that King Yunha's family? Then, is your target that mine as well?" Yu Ling sighed in relief, saying, "No!" She focused her eye intently upon Yi Tian, saying, "I want to find the treasure that my father left behind for me." Yi Tian gasped in shock, asking, "Your father's treasure?" Yu Ling continues to focus on her healing, explaining and reminiscing. 20 years ago, when my father came in here, he found an extremely rare treasure. Unfortunately, it was guarded by a calamity tier beast with a teleportation skill, so he wasn't able to get his hands on it. She gazed at Yi Tian with resolute and measuring his intent, declaring, "That is why this time, my goal for entering this place is to obtain that treasure." Yi Tian naively asked, "So, you are saying there is a calamity beast with a teleportation skill here?" It was obvious that his interest lies in copying that skill. Yu Ling just affirmed, "That is right." Yu Ling closed her eyes, unknowingly explained further, "My father speculated that it is probably a calamity beast with a mid-tier spatial talent." She imagined, saying, "It is incredibly dangerous." Yi Tian could only bow his head, deep in thought, thinking, a mid-tier spatial talent. King Yan, he only has a novice-tier talent. Yi Tian tried to hold in his excitement, thinking, I must get my hands on it. Yu Ling started to touch her toes, stretching. She got into a full stretching pose. Then she loosened her waist. Finally, Yu Ling stretched her back, saying, "All right, my body has recovered well enough for me to move." Yi Tian sincerely approached Yu Ling and asked, "Right. Is it all right for you to tell me what kind of treasure it is that it made you chase so fervently after it?" Yu Ling replied in earnest, "There is no problem with me telling you about it since you are my partner now." Yu Ling continued to stretch out her back, making it crack, saying, "The treasure is called the Divine Soul Flower. It's a treasure that can help raise a person's cultivation talent all the way to the top. Simply put, one stalk of the Divine Soul Flower can make a man a genius, or in other words an apex tier grandmaster. A single Divine Soul Flower is enough to let someone reign over everyone else in that Lin High Base 5 Sup /Sup Academy of yours." Yi Tian gasped in shock, asking, "Is it that good?" Yu Ling sternly pointed at Yi Tian, saying, "This isn't just something that I need, you and your younger sister both need it, too." Yi Tian shut his eyes, clearing his dry throat, thinking, I definitely don't need it. But Yi really does. Yi Tian honestly asked, "How many stalks does that divine flower have?" Yu Ling answered, 20 years ago, there were still 10 stalks. But, due to the passage of time, some of the stalks may be damaged, and some may even have been proliferated." Yu Ling continued, "The biggest worry of finding treasures together with a partner is that there won't be enough of the treasure to share with everyone. Regardless of how many there are, I am more than willing to share them with you equally. You just need to promise me that you will use all of your strength to fight against that calamity beast." Yi Tian smiled and agreed. "Of course." Yu Ling agreed wholeheartedly and said, "Let's do this." They both slapped each other's hand, high-fiving in agreement. The scene shifted to an area outside. Yi Tian can be seen following Yu Ling close behind, as they both ran and jumped atop from building to building in order to avoid the dangers that lie inside the buildings. he asked. Hey! Do you know the exact location of the treasure? She answered him patiently. Don't worry about it and just follow me. Yi Tian watched Yuling's back as he allowed her to run ahead, in order to protect her from any ambushes. He was deep in thought. The divine soul flower is a great treasure, but rather than that, I am more interested in. He focused his resolve, finishing his thoughts. The spatial talent from the calamity beast. The area ahead can be seen as they needed to go through a thick forest. Yuling was jumping atop from a tree to tree. The two was smoothly jumping through the trees. Yi Tian continued to ask questions. Your father planned this for 20 years, so I am sure that he has thought of a plan to defeat the beast, right? Yuling answered. There is a plan. Yuling suddenly produces a white shining disc from her spatial storage. She threw the disc behind her toward Yi Tian as he deftly caught the disc with ease. Yi Tian analyzed the disc, saying, This is. Yuling looked back toward Yi Tian saying, This is called a formation array plate. My father paid a lot of money to get a magician to make for him. Yi Tian looked closely at the disc as Yuling continued. The formation pattern on it is called the Forbidden Spatial Array. It can reduce the effectiveness of a teleportation skill immensely. Yi Tian stored the disc into his storage pouch, confirming. So, even if they have a teleportation skill, they will be suppressed, right? Yuling affirmed. Of course. All things can be found that reinforce and counteract each other. Even if they are such a thing as invincible in existence. It's only a matter of time that one can find its natural enemy that can counter that existence. Yi Tian sunk in deep thought. Natural enemy? Then what would my talent's natural enemy be? Yuling continued to run and jump beside Yi Tian, giving him a warning. Put all your hopes on this formation plate. However, it is only effective for 3 seconds and within an area of 800 meters of the target. Yuling looked decisively. My original plan was to activate the formation plate when we first started to battle the calamity beast. Then activate my forbidden art and collaborate with you to kill the beast. However, in order to hide from the demonic eye python, I had already used my forbidden art, and won't be able to use it again in such a short period of time. Unfortunately, I can't delay in acquiring this treasure any longer. Yi Tian just smiled confidently and said, Say no more. I will do my best to obtain it. Yuling could only look deeply at Yi Tian, analyzing and weighing his sincerity and capability to do so. She unknowingly smiled, signifying that she believed his capability and honesty. The scene shifts toward another area, as they had arrived in an area with dark clouds. Yuling stopped suddenly, breaking her run to a complete stop. She studied the area below her, just as Yi Tian had also arrived. Yi Tian laboriously gasped to catching his breath, asking, Why are we stopping? Yuling looked down upon the area below and announced, We have arrived. She continued to survey the area and pointed out their target to Yi-Tian, saying, "Do you see that mountain cave?" They could clearly see a cave below with a huge opening. Yu Ling finished by saying, "The divine soul flower and the spatial calamity beast are all in there." Yi Tian continued to ask about their plan of action, asking, "So what do we do next? Should I attack them first?" Yu Ling elaborated the whole plan in detail, saying, "We need to be patient. It takes time to set up the formation. Once I finish setting it up, you can then lure it out." The scene shifts toward the inside of the cave. The spatial calamity beast can be seen fast asleep, unaware of the danger that awaits it. Bones of various beasts was strewn around that had been its prey and dinner. Suddenly it opens its eyes, sensing something was amiss. Suddenly, Yi Tian felt that the calamity beast is using its mental ability in order to track him. He instinctively is alerted that danger approaches. A red crimson ball can be seen appears above and behind Yi Tian and Yu Ling. Unbeknownst to them, Yi Tian instinctively looks behind him, sensing some sort of danger lurking. He yells a warning toward Yu Ling Ai, indicating toward the calamity beast above them. "We have been found." It's the sensory ability that those with spatial ability possess. The calamity beast can be seen looking down upon Yu Ling and Yi Tian as it snorted a pungent mist. A crimson aura can be seen enveloping the calamity beasts entirely. A status window popped up, showing the calamity beast's powers. Type: Teleportation Bat. Bloodline Talent. Apex Tier. Spatial Talent. Mid-Tier. Gigantism Talent. Mid-Tier. Yi Tian analyzed the calamity beast in awe, thinking, "Spatial talent is truly amazing." Suddenly, Yi Tian moved toward the calamity beast, yelling, "I will stall it first." Yu Ling starts setting up that forbidden formation array. Yu Ling acknowledges, yelling back her confirmation. "All right, I will leave it all to you." Yu Ling ran away towards another direction, planning to give the calamity beast some distance in order to focus on setting up the formation array. The calamity beast activated its spatial talent. Closing the distance toward Yi Tian, a crimson ball of light sparkled behind him. It struck Yi Tian on his shoulder, blood gushing out. Yi Tian grimaced as he endured the pain, as his shoulder was gashed and clothes ripped apart. He analyzed his current condition, trying to think a plan of action, thinking, "Teleportation is truly amazing. It has a distinct difference from speed talent." The calamity beast struck the area around Yi Tian with one of its powers. Yi Tian can be seen crawling himself out of a large hole on the side of a hill. That had stopped him as he was flown back due to the force of the strike. He stepped and jumped up, thinking, "If that is the case..." Yi Tian bowed his head, resolving himself, thinking, "I will make sure to drag this battle out for some fun." Yi Tian focused himself as he activated his healing talent to its maximum. Healing talent. At the same time, he took out his sword from his storage space, producing it within his grasp. The scene shifts towards another area close by. Yuling clapped her hands together, focusing her powers. She was crouching. A blue aura enveloped Yuling as she started to activate the forbidden formation array that was floating above her. Yuling focused her eyes and powers intently upon the array, thinking, "Bear with it for just a while longer, Etion. I am almost done." The formation array disk was glowing brightly as it floated above Yuling. In the distance, the Calamity Beast was seen floating high above. It activated another power with its wings. The Calamity Beast surged toward Etion. A crimson ball sparkled behind him. Etion was surprised, thinking in alarm, "It's coming." The Calamity Beast appeared behind Etion. Its claws inches behind Etion's head, who activated his speed talent in running away. Etion could feel that his neck was the Calamity Beast's target using his mental ability. The Calamity Beast stomped down upon the ground around Etion. A deep hole can be seen on ground to where Etion was standing. It was empty, however. Etion was standing to the side, saying, "You are not the only one that is fast around here. My speed won't be outdone by your teleportation." He has activated his speed talent to its maximum. The Calamity Beast looked at Etion in admiration. The Calamity Beast smiled as it accepted the challenge. A putrid smoke can be seen billowing out its mouth as it took a deep breath. The Calamity Beast, again, launched its spatial talent, a crimson ball crackling behind it. The Calamity Beast landed close to Etion. Its claws inches from Etion's head. Etion looked at one claw that was heading for his eye. Just as the claw was getting near, Etion activated his strength talent to its maximum. Etion jumped up as he kicked the Calamity Beast's leg, toppling it backwards. At the same time, he activated his shadow talent as he swung his devastating attack toward the Calamity Beast. Etion focused his strength into his strike as he reactivated his strength talent to its maximum. The Calamity Beast was not idle. It too activated its spatial talent as it swung its claw towards Etion. The Calamity Beast and Etion traded blows. Neither side could gain the advantage as they both struck and parried each other. Etion looked back toward Yuling as he desperately held off the Calamity Beast, asking, "Yuling, how much longer will it take for the formation to be completed?" Yuling yelled back in confirmation, 3 more seconds." A large crimson ball suddenly crackled beside Etion, signifying the Calamity Beast's arrival. Etion could only realize in alarm his immediate danger, thinking, "Shit." A countdown appeared in Etion's head. 3. The Calamity Beast appeared out of the crimson crackling ball. The countdown continued. 2. Yuling's eyes could only watch in desperation. The formation array started to take shape. The countdown continued as it ticked off the final few seconds. 1. The calamity beast rushed towards Yuling. As it noticed the formation array taking shape, Yi Tian kicked the calamity beast as he tried to desperately delay its imminent arrival. Finally, Yuling finished creating the formation array, as she yelled, "Forbidden formation array." She pushed down upon the ground, yelling, "Activate!" The formation array flew out on its own, seeking its target. The formation array hovered above the calamity beast as it crashed upon the ground. Its spatial talent completely nullified. The formation array extended its cage surrounding the calamity beast, who could only watch helplessly. The formation array grew to gigantic proportions as it has firmly established its powers. A suppressive cage can be seen around the calamity beast as it was pressed down upon the ground. The beast moaned, "Awoo!" Yuling can be seen slowly walking towards the calamity beast. She sighed deeply, sweat dripping down her face, saying, "We have succeeded."
That is all for today. If you want to see more in the future, please support my channel by subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. I want to thank you in advance. I truly appreciate it.